Looking back, what's a situation in your life when you were the one who was wrong? I think about this pretty often honestly. I had to be about 7 or 8. I'm in the mall with my mom and sister and it is just about closing time. On our way out of a department store we stop at the bathroom before the ride home. My mom sends me into the men's room on my own. Nobody in the bathroom. For some reason my stupid little brain thinks I'm gonna poop on a bunch of paper towels and slap it against the mirror. I try to think back to why I would ever have this compulsion and I got nothing. Having since worked many service jobs over the years, I am profoundly sorry to that custodian. Back in my rage all day everyday college days we'd routinely party until the sun came up. One time a roommate came downstairs and turned down our music. As he was walking back upstairs I cranked it back up. He came back and started jawing at me about respect and I wasn't having any of that. Huge a-hole energy. Definitely the time my friends and I bullied the new kid on the block. Nothing physical, but we made fun of him and excluded him for not having a scooter. Then one day he showed up with a new scooter and we bullied him for having a cheapo one. Years later it became apparent that his family wasn't as well off as ours. None of us realized we were picking on the poor kid, and when the family bought him the trendy toy, it just wasn't good enough for us. We were mean to him and I feel awful about it. Sorry, Omar. I dated my best friend's ex-girlfriend. The actual worst year of my life. Very similar, I dated my ex-boyfriend's best friend. Also the worst year of my life. I was in a really awful place in life and was more scared to be alone than anything else. Genuinely my biggest regret. I wish I could apologize to everyone I knew back then. I had a terrible job in a warehouse and was getting bloody noses every night because there was so much dust. One night I put up a sign that said, "This job sucks," on one of the pillars in the back. The next night the line manager bought us all ice cream and as he was walking through the warehouse he saw it. Everybody knew that I had done it but no one was going to snitch. Meanwhile there was this annoying kid named Brandon who was seeing me off, and for some reason, they suspected him. The next night I almost got into a fight with him over some stupid it and at the end of the shift they fired him thinking he had put the sign up. I totally got away with it. A friend brought my group of friends to a bar on Halloween weekend. I was dressed up as a cowboy. I noticed that pretty much everyone else at that bar was dressed as a vampire. I went around and complimented a lot of them on their awesome vampire costumes. We eventually left and hopped over to another bar. I'm telling my friend I thought it was weird that everyone there had chosen to dress as a vampire. He tells me that we were actually at a goth bar, and none of them were wearing costumes. In the past I'd subconsciously tune people out mid-conversation and then give a rehearsed response when it was time for me to respond. I didn't even realize I was doing it so much until I'd ask my friends about things that they claimed to have already told me. When I realized it was a problem to be such a bad listener, I made a conscious effort to fix it and I'm much better about it now. Moved to live closer to my best friend and work with her. Ended up hating the town. Taking it out on her. Spending all my energy complaining about how I'd ruined my life and not gave any thought to her feelings. I moved away and we've kinda repaired things but it definitely left an impact and I was 100% in the wrong. Well, when my brother held me as a baby, I apparently kicked him in the nuts. He tried to make me stop crying. An a-hole from day one. When I was a kid, my dad gave me $1 to tip the lady who had just cut my hair. I went up to her and said, "I'm gonna regret this," and gave her the dollar. I was trying to make a joke about how I'd have less money, but I didn't realize how it could have come off as criticism of the job she did until my dad explained that to me. When my best friend was bullied I sometimes joined along, wanting to look cool in front of the cool kids. I used to pull that nice guy bullet. Ask a girl out, get rejected, desperately plead my case about how nice I was even though trying to guilt trip your way into a date is not a nice thing to do at all. Then get frustrated when she avoided me and unfriended me on Facebook. Pretty embarrassing to look back on, but if you can't look back and realize you were a total a-hole sometimes, you're probably still an a-hole. Glad you stopped the nice guy mentality. I had a great friend who wanted to be more and felt I owed it to him to date him because he was nice. He just wasn't my type romantically. He went on to tell me I ruined love for him and that he couldn't believe he fell for such a horrible person. All I had done was tell him I didn't want to date him. He stopped all communication with me over it. Nice guys aren't as nice as they think. It's always great to see one of them realize it. Many years ago I was just starting out on a new position as a project manager. Things weren't going smoothly on this project, not really in anyone's control, but it added stress to myself and my team. One day one of my teammates made a minor and fixable error, but I still screamed at them in front of about 10 people, all employees. Like a good 2-minute tirade about what a cup they were. They were a summer student, making minimum wage, and I just laid into them. The worst part is they made the mistake because I mislabeled something. Some 10 years later I still manage small to medium teams and I think about that moment a lot. It reminds me to keep my cool in stressful situations, and you can provide discipline without being an a-hole. Also, owning up to your own mistakes as a leader I feel actually helps the team grow long term and establishes trust with your employees. Setting up for a huge artisan trade show that involved a massive vetting process. It was very difficult to be selected. We had a day to set up, and as we're all working our races off trying to make the best display of our goods, one booth across from us remained a total ghost town, to the horror and shock of the rest of us hard-working artisans. Fast forward to the opening day of 10 days of this massive Christmas artisan show, as in huge, and the empty booth owners show up, set up a basic Costco table and dump cardboard boxes around. We're all rolling our eyes and snickering at this point. I mean, come on. What losers? Yeah, those losers were selling authentic Peruvian sweaters and hats sold out in 3 days, packed up their Costco table, humbly leaving with way more than we could ever hope to make. Meanwhile, the rest of us schmucks had to kiss us and keep our pathetic eating grins on for another 7 days. I will forever look back on that experience as a lesson of making assumptions and being a total ass. Which I was. When I was a teen I went to a restaurant with several of my friends. We had been at an arcade earlier, so I had a pocket full of quarters. My tip that night was quarters sprinkled in glasses, in food, and on plates. Thought it would be funny, but I look back on it now and it wasn't. It's something for which I'm deeply ashamed and it fills me with regret every time I think of it. Now I am extremely nice to the wait staff. Similar situation. A group of friends went out for dinner at a bar restaurant. Waitress was really awesome and chill. Had the whole I'm your friend kind of vibe. We thought it would be funny to fold all the bills for the tip and build them up like you would a house of cards. The house was probably 12-18 inches high. It was a decent amount of money, but I still feel bad when I think about that poor girl having to unfold every single bill and trying to get them to fit in her apron. Didn't think about how inconsiderate and rude that was until much later. I was stressing out about finals a few months ago and I accidentally started taking it out on my boyfriend. He called me out on it and I can't apologize enough for it now because I 100% deserved to be called out on it. This was me last night. I have been stuck in a dead-end job for over a year because I quit my last job and had a non-compete. I am almost done with the non-compete, so I have been applying for jobs. I must have applied to 20 places and only one called me back. I got a job offer that is $10,000 less per year than what I am making now, and $20,000 less per year than I was making at my last job. I felt like that was an insult, because the people that offered me the job know me very well and know what I am capable of. I want the job so bad to get back into the industry, but I don't know if I can afford to lose more money. I was in such a bad mood about my current situation that I snapped on my boyfriend when he said something that pissed me off. He didn't respond, but when I had a few minutes to think I realized what I had done. I apologize over and over again. He laughed and said not to worry about it and he knows I am not mad at him. Thank goodness he is so understanding. That's all for today's video. Hope you guys liked it. If you liked the video, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is simply watch the videos. But if you really want to see the channel thrive, subscribe, like, comment, add to favorites, add to playlist, and share with friends. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Reddit and Insta. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you with tomorrow's upload.